Yeah, guys, welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix in the Netherlands. And this might be the last time we'll be having the Dutch Grand Prix under the current contract. Now, why? We have more races in Europe and more tracks coming up for races now. So there are lots of Formula One is trying to cut down, bring some race in and take some race out. But this might be under the current contract. And we enjoyed ourselves last year because it was a great race in which you had the two Ferraris out and Lando Norris also out of the race. Oscar Piastri winning the race. The homeboy coming second. What a race it was. And I believe it to be a very, very interesting race this weekend as we're having another sprint race in Netherlands, which will be the first sprint race in Netherlands ever. So it's going to be interesting. Now, that's the Circuit Zandvoort in Netherlands, a permanent racing facility. 4.259 kilometers, that's about 2.646 miles over the race length. A 72 lap race with a distance of 306.587 kilometers. That's about 190.504 miles. Now, coming back from the Hungarian Grand Prix, Kimi Antonelli leading with about 50 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton leading George Russell by 9 points. And Ferrari Charles Leclerc coming fourth. It's going to be a very interesting race to see if Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari will be able to push Kimi Antonelli, or should I say, will Ferrari be able to put their mind on Lewis Hamilton for the championship, or will they be relying on his teammate Charles Leclerc? Or will the Red Bull have woken up and see, hey, they need to really give it a race and see where they can come up to give a challenge? Or will Kimi Antonelli's teammate George Russell wake up after his beautiful proposal and say, yes, I've done the proposal, now it's time to work? Or will the McLarens really suck up their mojo and say, yeah, we are back in this championship and we really want to give it a run for its money? It's going to be a very interesting one. I am very sure that you won't want to miss this weekend, forgetting that it's a race weekend. I just got my mojo back and I was like, yeah, it's a race weekend, so let's go for eating it. So what do you expect in the Dutch Grand Prix? It's going to be very interesting. Like I said, should be having the C2, C3, and C4 tires. That's the C2 for the hard, the C3 for the medium, and the C4 for the soft tires. Now, the front left will have a lot of stress on the front left as the track is a clockwise track and it has a lot of banked corners like the turn 3 and the final turn, which will put a lot of stress on the tire from the immense lateral and vertical energy, specifically on the front left of the tire. The track has a low mechanical grip, and like I said earlier, it's a sprint weekend, so we are going to see a different formation or a different format for the race this weekend. Now, what do you think will happen? I think Ferrari are bringing up upgrades to preserve the tire. They've brought their hardware one. In Monza, they'll be bringing their hardware two. So they are bringing upgrades to make sure they're able to get the best out of the tires. Now, what do you expect to happen if they get best out of the rear tires? We're expecting Ferrari to really push the Mercedes. Mercedes will have ultimate advantage because of their pace and because of their car, but Ferrari have closed the gap, so I expect them to also push more because both teams might be taking a shift in Monza, especially on power units. So it's going to be a different ball game entirely. So let's see how they are going to push that. I'm expecting a dry weekend. On Friday, for the practice and the sprint qualifying, we're expecting temperatures nearing 20 degrees, and there might be risk of shower, but it's not sure during the day. But on Saturday, we're expecting a cooler temperature of about 19 degrees, and it looks like it's going to be very, very breezy, and there might be risk of rain in the afternoon, but the wind could get to around 40 kilometers per hour. But on Sunday, the best chance for a drier condition for the race around 3 p.m. there, but moderately, mostly to be sunny, light windy, but temperatures will be as high as 20 degrees, but there is no chance of rain. This weekend will be, from what I'm seeing, it will be low on rain this weekend, but certainly we are going to be having probability of rain. I'm saying two things together. If there's rain in Zandvoort, it's not interesting because there might be collision. A lot of drivers make mistakes if there's rain in Zandvoort. So it's better there's no rain for the main race so that we can see how these drivers will push, especially on the bank corners. But the weekend would surprise us. Let me take you back to 2025. 2025, Oscar Piastri won the race. Max Verstappen came second. Isaac Hadjar came third. Isaac Hadjar gave a good account of himself against the Mercedes in 2025, especially him driving the racing bull. Lewis Hamilton was the first driver to get into a commotion. Before he was able to pit, he wrapped the car into the wall. His teammate Charles Leclerc also wrapped the car into the wall while Kimi Antonelli was trying to overtake him. Kimi Antonelli got a 10-second penalty for that, while Lando Norris had an engine issue while he was second already. He started on a bad note, but he was able to get the position back from Max Verstappen. But he suffered from engine issues, and that was the end of his race in 2024, 2025. In 2024, we had Lando Norris winning the race. What a race it was for him. Max Verstappen coming second, Leclerc third. That was when we started having the resurgence of the McLaren. So it was a good race for them. All drivers completed the race in 2004. Rain nearly had the race in 2005. In 2023, we had Max Verstappen winning the race, Alonso coming second, Sergio Perez coming third. Alonso really gave a good account of himself that day. This is a home track for Max Verstappen, so he gave a good account of himself, in which he has always done in the Dutch GP. In 2022, we had Max Verstappen also winning the race, and George Russell coming second, Charles Leclerc third, Lewis Hamilton coming fourth, Sergio Perez coming fifth. Now in 2021, when the battle was up, Lewis Hamilton came second, Max Verstappen came first. He was able to put Lewis Hamilton in his place. The Mercedes were able to change tire to get that 1 point. That 1 point, the 1 point was important then, as in they fight for the fastest lap of the race in 2021 because of where they were in the championship. Lewis Hamilton got the last point on that 1 point to add to his second position on the last lap of the race, because his teammate got it before on lap 71. The team could not give him the information fast. Valtteri Bottas then was like, yeah, I'm leaving, so shit, I'm going for it. That was when the championship was higher, and that 1 point, we know how it really helped Lewis Hamilton, but cost Mercedes in the last race when decisive decision was made by the FIA. But 5 years ago, nobody can still move on in F1. That is the wrap up. But one of the things that happens is, if you're able to get the undercut in the Dutch GP, you might have a faster car. Because if you get the undercut and you are pitted fast, you come out, you have a warmer tires. It's a very, very difficult track to overtake. But there are overtakes, a lot of overtakes, especially on turn 11 and turn 3. You can have a massive race. Undercut is the best strategy. 2 or 1 pit stop, I think. 2 pit stop, the tire stress, how abrasive the track is going to affect the tire life. So I think 2 stop will be the fastest, and we might have some drivers going for 3 stops. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they sludge it out. Who will win the race? I think there's a race between Mercedes and Ferrari again. McLaren, they've always had a good run in the Dutch GP. But will they be there? I think McLaren will try their best, but it's a race between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. McLaren will be coming behind, and I think it won't be a good one for Max Verstappen for the first time in the last 5 years, because it has been a very good home race for him. But with the package that Red Bull are having this season, is not going to be a very good one for Max. And I think Max Verstappen will still show himself, because that is what he's always done. Max Verstappen comes to every race to make sure he tries winning. He puts that Red Bull in a good position. So up until the weekend, hope you guys will enjoy the race, and I hope the best man win. See you guys. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.